Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 797. Knocking on the door of 800, boys. We'll hit that next week, I do believe. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by James Dean Rader, Ben Funky Askren. What a weird middle name. Benjamin Funky Askren. I don't know. Your parents knew something when they named you, Ben.
Parents chose it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Spencer Spey, Ben Funky Askren, some iconic middle names there.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm back. Caleb did in fact graduate from the 5th grade. What a glorious time. I'm lucky in that I had the realization very, very quickly of how fast this thing happens with the kids, and it's insane. And so if you're out there, you got a little 2-3-year-old, you gotta cherish it. It's like Billy Madison squeezing the kid's
I literally
face.
just thought of Billy. I think you stole that previous quote from Billy Madison.
That was the first time the words "you have to cherish it" were ever used. And
no, the one before that when you said, it was a glorious time. I think that's from
Billy Madison?
A rock band. Well, I feel like the line is something like that when he graduates to 1st grade. Remember, the father's throwing graduation parties after each grade.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's a rock and roll band. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
I think he says like, "Oh, what a glorious time!" Or I gotta go watch it. I could be way off.
Man, I remember that movie absolutely blew my mind when I was in like 7th grade. I couldn't believe there were things that funny that existed. I was like, "Oh, whoa, my gosh!" I would definitely not allowed to watch that. Was that my shout out Daniel Snyder, letting me watch Billy Madison? True friend. He's also the infamous friend that snuck in to my house when I was staying with him. My parents were gone, and we watched Speed because it was the only rated R movie we had in our house. So, shout out to Deviant CP and Daniel Snyder.
Good old Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves.
Right?
Yeah, Dennis Hopper. Yep. You know it well. So, yeah, all that Keanu Reeves, it goes away. What is this? Oh, there it is, Ben. You see it? Tyler pulled it in.
Dude, I was right?
You were right. He said Billy passed 3rd grade.
Yes.
Oh, what a glorious day.
Oh, I was right. I was like, dang it, am I saying something really stupid? I feel like I'm right, but I guess I watched Billy Madison that many times that I was right.
Wow. That's great. I didn't even know I knew I was making a reference after that, but I know that was a reference.
Yeah.
But Ben knew.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, fun times there to all you parents. And the parents of older kids, you're like, yeah, I know. It's insane. So, yeah, parenting's great. Other stuff, lots of stuff happening. If you don't know, JB6 is on the site. Please watch that. It's a film about Jordan Burroughs, his 6th title. And, of course, it's not a Jordan Burroughs film without our freaking disastrous FRL with him and Kyle Dake, which
classic. I prefer the term classic.
Definitely my least favorite part of the entire thing, but other than that, it's awesome.
Why are you so uptight about it, Christian? It was so great.
Because it's bad. It's bad. What happened was wrong.
Wrong.
You did it, Ben. It's been rectified.
Well, what's this movie quote from, JD? Don't say it's wrong when it feels so right.
I don't know that one.
I don't know.
It sounds like a...
I don't know either. Sounds like a movie quote, though.
Sounds like a Marvin Gaye song.
Hey, I tried to do another thing yesterday, Christian, when you weren't here.
Oh, no.
I invited Anthony Robles on to put Shane in his place about this damn argument that Shane has. And then Shane didn't show up.
Well, you know,
Robles showed up.
So actually, Ben, it's funny you bring that up because at NCAAs, Shane and Anthony were walking around together. And that was actually the first time I had even met Anthony. I just brought it up straight in front of him. And they kind of had a laugh.
Oh, really? I asked Anthony, I said, have you ever heard this thing that Shane talks about where you shouldn't have chose bottom? He's like, he kind of said it to me once, but not really. I'm like, oh, well, you don't know the half of it then because Shane goes hard on this one. And he's like, okay, I'll tell him. And then Shane didn't show up.
They kind of had a little laugh about it. Because I mentioned it then just to create an uncomfortable situation for everyone. But no, it was all funny. So yeah, that would have been good. But it's awesome you had him on. And so his his quest begins today. Is it happening right now? Let's go to YouTube.
I think it's 11 a.m. I think it's 11 a.m. his time, which would be later our time, I believe.
I thought it was 9 a.m. his time, which is 11 a.m. our time.
Okay. Well, either way, it sounds like it hasn't started yet. But wish Anthony luck.
Dude,
who's he?
Christian. He thinks he can do 9,000 pull-ups. Did you hear what his plan? They're going to do 12 pull-ups a minute for 3 hours.
12 pull-ups a minute for 3 hours.
Yes.
That's really tough.
Christian, I couldn't do that for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I probably couldn't either.
That's hard. 10 minutes, that's 120 in 10 minutes.
That's nuts. No way.
I absolutely couldn't do it. I would have a small chance of doing that. It's absolutely impossible. I would get it for 20 minutes. There's no way. Not even possible. Not close.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. I think if he thinks he can get 9,000, he's certainly going to break the record, right? His body would have to completely shut down.
Yes. He was worried about his hands specifically.
That's what JD said. That was JD's big concern.
He said he gets to wear some special gloves, but not super special. Guinness has to approve them.
Oh, really? Guinness approved? How much could gloves help, though?
I think a lot.
They'll prevent a lot.
I remember.
Well, I know for like your hand, preserving the skin on your hands. I just mean like how much could they actually assist?
Well, I mean, not assist, but if you tear your hands, you can't. You're gonna quit at some point. I remember just one time I did. Someone challenged me. This is when I was way younger. I was probably 20. I was in good shape, and someone else, they were also in good shape, challenged me to a monkey bar thing. Like how many times you can go back and forth on the monkey bars, And we did it. Dude, my hands tore so bad. Like I had like almost the whole callus pad right there tore off. It was terrible. My hand freaking hurt for like a week on that one. So stupid.
Yeah, Caleb did that same thing on monkey bars. He did like in Ohio State's room, they have just a giant long one.
Yes.
He went back and forth for like, he could do it for a really long time when he was like 7, and then his hands were just like totally destroyed.
Yeah, my hands got destroyed that one. So yeah, and that was like a 2-minute thing or 3-minute thing. I can't imagine he's gonna be on that damn bar for so freaking long.
Yeah. That'll be a huge challenge. Even with gloves, your hands are still probably gonna be destroyed. Yes. Andy Bernard, he squirted lotion in the gloves when he was playing golf. 'Cause he had some blisties, so maybe he could take it from a Cornell alum. Ever heard of it?
Oh my god!
Helps his hands out. Other cool stuff. Nate Jackson. What a weird story for this guy. He thought he would maybe have to retire because he tested positive at Pan Am's back in Guatemala last year and was suspended for months, and because he ate contaminated Guatemalan meat, a hamburger and ham thing he had. So he was like literally waiting up till the day before last chance qualifier before he got cleared. He obviously won last chance and then makes final X, and then in one of his interviews, he basically alludes to like, yeah, Jaden moved to Michigan. And you can kind of read between the lines there why that happened, which, the lines that he's asking us to read in between is like they don't want to train together because Jaden would view Nate as a threat. Then
really? Wait, is this a thing?
This is a thing. And then yesterday on the Bader show, he went as far to say that he's going to win and that he basically believes that was a factor in Jaden's decision. Once they both decided to go 92. Yes, they did.
In that event, the Burroughs-Taylor event, correct?
Correct.
And it was, what, 6? It was a 6-0, 6-2?
I don't recall the score, but yes, Jaden did win.
And I feel like it was. I think it wasn't like a threatening win or a come from behind. I feel like it was kind of a comfortable Jaden win. And obviously, Jaden is not known for just blowing people's doors off, right? He gets up 4 or 6, and he's cool with that. Yeah,
well, I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying that's what he said.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just bringing up other evidence to the contrary.
Yeah. Of the Final X matchups which have upset potential, how would you rank this one, and why do you think that this is far-fetched?
Well, here's what we did yesterday. We talked about the men's freestyle one. We talked about all of them, but we talked about the men's freestyle ones, and I put them in categories.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear the categories? I hope I remember them.
I wish I could see them.
The categories were
make a
least
sheet.
likely first. It was Kyle, Jaden, and Jordan were the first three. Okay. The second ones were Kyle Dake, and David Taylor, and then the last three were Gilman, Fix, and who's the other one? Gilman, Fix. There's one more.
Zane-JO.
No, that's
And
not.
we just talked about medalists. Yes.
Return medalists. No, there's only 7. There's only 7 because 65, 70, and heavyweight do not have return medalists. There's only 10. So that was right. So those 7, that was the categories we put them in.
Okay.
How do you feel about that, Christian? And I think of all of those categories, we acknowledge that all of them, even the most likely, is still really unlikely.
So you think Nolf has a better chance of beating Dake than Nate Jackson does of beating Jaden?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to map.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Why? Because
I give Nolf a
on
slightly
which
better
side should you think Nate Jackson's better for his weight class, or you think Jaden's worse for his weight class?
I don't think either of
put in
those
those terms, but
I don't think either of those things. I think I've seen Nolf versus Dake, and it's just not. I just don't see any path there. I see it. It's navigable. I think for Nate, he's definitely a decided underdog. Right? I mean, is it impossible to think he could score on him? I mean, Jaden.
I go back and watch their other match. I don't remember the exact match, but I remember watching it and not feeling all that close is what I remember. Nate Jackson has been getting a lot better though, because obviously, when he graduated college, that you would have never thought it would be this close to where it is.
Okay, so I got 4 buckets here.
4 buckets.
I just made up. There's no chance, some chance, slight edge, toss-ups. Let's change no chance.
We have no toss-ups in here. Come on.
Heavy favorite.
Are you including so we were only talking about
for all Final X.
Okay, we were only talking about the medalist sit-outs is one we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what would fall in the category of a toss-up in your mind?
Well, I think the non-medalist one. So I think
Zane-JO.
Zane-JO is a toss-up. I don't think Yanni's a toss-up, but I think Evan Henderson has a better chance than a lot of the other guys you mentioned. And then Gwiz Zilmer, not a toss-up, but a better chance than the medalist options.
Man, I think Yanni's a pretty decided favorite over Henderson. Best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So toss-up, I say Zane-JO. I say slight edge category would be Gilman Vito. I think that's close.
Really?
Do you think that's like heavy favorite Gilman?
I think I wouldn't put past Vito to sneak out a match, but to beat him 2 times in a row, I would be very surprised. Yes. We just saw him lose to Patrick Glory like a month ago.
Man, Vito is a different cat in freestyle.
I understand he's different, but I mean, we're talking about a guy who won a world title last year.
I know that, and I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're moving things around, we view a lot of things really differently. You think Henderson has a better chance than Vito? You can't.
I mean, yes, because Yanni hasn't competed internationally. So I think you're.
I promise you, I think Yanni.
I don't know
Vito,
what's in your brain.
Or Yanni. Go ahead.
I don't know what's in your brain here, but I think you're putting Yanni, and listen, I love Yanni, and maybe a little higher status than he deserves because Yanni hasn't went and done it at the international level. Gilman won a world title. And he was pretty much seconds away from winning an Olympic title also, right? If he beat Chugayev, he probably wins the Olympic title. And so Gilman was here, and then last year Gilman went to here, right? Mm-hmm. So if last year in April you say, hey, give me who's better for the weight class, Yanni or Gilman? I say Yanni. And I don't even think that hard about it. But now Gilman has went and had the international level success, and I don't think there's any way you don't put Gilman up here. It wasn't one tournament; it was multiple tournaments where he went and got it done. That's why I
but
think
I
Gilman's
just
gonna
don't think
retire.
that's like the thing. It sounds weird, but I just don't think that's the way to look at it. I think it's just totally about the level of competition, right? And sure, Yanni on the world stage is not close to a medal, is as close to a medal as Gilman is, who has achieved it. It's just all about who is he wrestling.
Sure, but
And the
now I mean
matchup
also with
therein.
Evan Anderson, he just beat and no, I don't think Evan Anderson has a good chance. I'm not saying that, but if we're comparing, Evan Anderson just beat Nick Lee. I mean, you would have said Nick Lee has a pretty good chance against Yanni, right?
Yes. Yes. But
And it wasn't like Evan
but then
snuck one
again,
out.
but then again, the Nick Lee thing was totally based on Olympic trials, right? And
mm-hmm.
I think more and more like backside stuff. It's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what does it mean? Because, or at least you at least have to give that caveat when a match happens on the backside. I think it's pretty clear that Yanni is, separated from Nick Lee now, and then. You know, it was a very close win for Henderson over Nick Lee. And I'm not trying to totally say he doesn't have a chance, but I just think Gilman and Vito will be more. I'll say this: Gilman and Vito will be more competitive than Yanni versus Henderson.
They had a very competitive.
That is my opinion.
Olympic trials finals. One of the matches was criteria.
Yes,
but I will say since then Gilman has like gone Super Saiyan and went to the Olympics, won
But wait,
a medal.
in both matches, guys, hold on. In both matches, it was competitive for a bit, right? And then I have to go back and watch, but I'm pretty sure in the second period, Gilman kind of started pouring it on in both matches. Isn't that what happened?
Definitely in the first one because Vito got a big. I think he got it.
Yeah, and then Gilman got hurt. And the second one was just 2-2. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Okay.
But Gilman. I can't remember exactly what he hurt, but he hurt something, and it was.
Maybe I'm underrating Vito because I was
totally. I really think that's what's happening.
Well, I love Vito, and then when he lost to Glory the first time, I'm like, okay, weight cut, blah blah blah, and then he killed him at EIWAs, and I'm like, okay, that's what I was expecting right there. And then when he went and lost him in the semis, I was like, wait, maybe I'm thinking he's way better than he really is. Like he just. He's not off the scale on this one. It's a semifinal. Like, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I do understand he's different in freestyle, of course.
Gilman in the first match pinned Vito, but it was like a really close match. He was like down big and then eventually pinned him. And then his second match was 2-2. Those were two very competitive matches. Now, Gilman was injured. He jumped levels since then. That said, Vito is very much in the arc of his progression improvement. I know we can't overreact to that World Team Trials field dominating that because those are not guys that would probably make it 6 minutes with Gilman either. But I just think Gilman and Vito are closer than Yanni Henderson. We could make a taser wager to that effect.
Taser wager.
That's what we should be calling them. I just wanted to say taser wager. I'm not really interested in engaging in that kind of a thing. Another thing I'll say, JD just looked it up, but in the Nate Jackson Jaden Cox match, I'm
watching it right now.
It was a 1-1.
Do yourself a favor, don't.
Nate was winning 1-1 with 1:20 left in the match.
So nothing really happens. I just watch it. Jaden gets a push out in the first. Nate's shooting from space, and Jaden's stopping all of them. Jaden gets a push out. Nate gets a shot clock point. Then Jaden gets a push out, he gets a takedown, and he gets a gut wrench, and it's 6-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, just watching this match, Nate's gonna have to come up with a different plan because he's kind of just shooting from space over and over again, and he's not really getting all that close. He hasn't got close to a score yet. So he would have to come up with a different plan. Yeah, it's 6-1 finish. This match was at 2:15, and obviously the match will be contested at 2:02 or 2:03. So that's a little bit of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would favor Nate because I would say Jaden's just generally a bigger person.
Yes. I don't have anything else to add on that. I'm kind of looking over the final X pecking order and how I see it. So I think, what do you think about the Gwiz Zilmer match? Is that a heavy favorite for Gwiz?
I feel like it, yeah. I feel like it's gonna be close. Like, he won't be able to score a lot of points, but I feel as pretty confident he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Zilmer's going to take a shot. Gwiz is going to get a go behind. Win 3-1, something like that. 5-1, 5-2,
Yeah.
6-2, something like that.
Yep.
Here's the ones I have in the heavy favorites category.
Oh, I thought we were doing buckets.
This is buckets. The heavy favorite bucket. Snyder, Moore,
Okay.
JB Chance,
Yep.
Gwiz Zilmer. I have Yanni
Yep.
Henderson in this one. Heavy favorite.
Whoa.
Dayton Gross, Nolf Dake. Dake Nolf.
So you're just throwing them. You got a big old bucket, scooping them all up.
I just really would be truly, truly surprised for any of those guys to win 2 matches.
Yes. I agree.
Taylor Zahid, I have some chance for Zahid, and I have some chance for Nate Jackson over Jaden Cox. I'm not ruling it out.
I'm putting Jaden.
I think he's got a better
bucket
chance
up.
than Nate does. He's been competing at
Yeah.
a really high level.
Wow. Would it not be mind-blowing to see David Taylor lose to
Yeah. Yes. I'm not saying it's a 40. He's got a 40% chance. I'm just saying I think it's a bigger chance than Nate Jackson. So if Nate Jackson's at a 5 to 10% and Zahid's at a 15%, then that's obviously significantly larger.
what do you think is Zahid's path to win in that match if he does it? What do those matches look like?
Score early from space and then withstand the storm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done that before. He's really slick from space. He's got a handful of good options. I could, he did it. Obviously, he did it to Jordan early in that match, and then he faded, and that's kind of been something that's happened. And maybe he's gotten that figure. We talk about it's kind of interesting because sometimes he can put the pace on people, and then sometimes it works to his disadvantage.
Yeah. I have a slight edge for Gilman over Vito. That's more about respect for Vito than, I think if Gilman wins, I think he'll win Worlds, right? I think he wins again.
Yes.
Yes, because Russia's not there.
And you know what? Even if they were,
He might beat him.
he might beat him. He did last year, and he was right there with Agoyev, almost beat him. So I think the winner of this wins Worlds. I really think Vito can do it too.
Kozak reminding us in the chat that Gilman did get pinned by Zach Sanders 5 weeks before making the Olympic team.
But that's what we were saying.
I'm saying after
That was
Olympic
wild.
trials, he went Super Saiyan, jumped levels.
Yes, that's what happened. And he lost to Seth Gross too, if we recall. He had that crazy grounded gate match where he was on his leg 1,000 times, and they
Grounded
yeah.
gate.
they called any attack grounded, basically.
All of them, yes. That was wild.
That was wild. So yeah, he was taking L's, and then he navigates the trials, narrowly. I would say
let's go back. I don't think any of us picked him to win trials, right?
nobody was picking Thomas Gilman to win trials. Yeah. Nobody. It was all about Soriano, and then Dayton, and no one was picking him. It was literally as great as he had been at that point. What we had seen, the Gross and the Sanders and everything leading up to it, it's probably not going to happen for him. And then he gets it done, and then at the Olympics and then the Worlds, it was an even new Thomas Gilman from there.
Yeah.
Because the expectation for Thomas going into the Olympics was this dude is not medaling, right? It was maybe a good draw, this thing happens, but it's going to have to work out. And then we saw his draw, and we're like, oh my gosh, not good.
Yeah.
And then he's been amazing. He's been an absolute revelation. And then I have Zane-JO as a complete toss-up. I really think.
Agreed.
Yes.
I think that's 50-50. Really have a hard time thinking who's going to be the favorite in this match. Jo did win the last meeting, right?
Yes.
At World Team Trials. Very bad match. Very little activity from either guy, which is weird. It's always weird, Ben, to see I mean, these were two of the most prolific scorers in NCAA wrestling, and especially Zane. J.O.
It was good, but he had some matches that were not so good.
Here's what I'd say about J.O. What we were talking about yesterday, just at the office, about how dominant he was. He's like I think he's the Oklahoma State pins leader, which probably if I had asked you before the show who it was, we maybe wouldn't have come up with that name. But when he moved up to 149, unless he was wrestling like a guy way below his level, his matches were more calculated. He was a little more. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's a little bit of, since he's moved up. Now, that was like almost 10 years ago now. But it is surprising when you see guys that have crazy offense be so cautious against each other. Now, it could be also familiarity. These guys have wrestled how many times, John Kozak? Yeah. I mean, they've been...
Well, no, but that's... J.O. matches against the other best guys look the same, right? Whether it's Pentelio or even Deacon, he didn't score a lot of points. He kind of shut down his offense, wasn't hyper-aggressive. His matches against the other best guys look really similar.
Yeah. Someone asking about Jaden struggling with his weight again. I don't think so. I think the 97 thing was, I don't know what it was.
Well, but he didn't actually struggle with. I mean, to everyone's, it was just it was a blip. Like it
was a timing issue.
Yeah, timing issue.
That said, he still wasn't on weight at the time he thought weigh-ins were starting, right?
Yeah, but when you saw as much as,
but then he did.
He just sweated like that.
And then he lost like 2 pounds in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Classic. So yeah, I think Jaden's the favorite there. Not saying that. I don't think he will struggle with weight. If he goes 86 ever, which I don't think is ever going to be considered, that will be a problem. He made it when it was day before and had success. I don't know if he ever attempted it day of. Right?
No, I don't think so. And that's day of, and then 2-day weigh-in is like, it's way different.
2-day scratch. Could you have done 74 2-day scratch?
No.
74 kilos? No way.
No way.
How brutal was that cut?
It was. I mean, the first couple of times I made it, and I made it at 3 p.m. the day before, and I still felt like crap the next day. Like my body just wasn't recovered, And then
really,
my body, then I got smaller and I adjusted, and it was not as bad, and I was feeling really good the next day. But like, if you had asked me to wrestle an hour off the scale, I would have been dog crap.
And how did you feel at the Olympics? Like when you competed,
good.
You felt good?
Yeah, the whole second. So I would say like the second season or portion, right? So after I get done with college in March, and then I competed twice, in the open, the trials. The next day I felt terrible. I waited at 3 p.m. and I still felt terrible the next day. But then by the time I weighed in again, whatever next October or November, I had it kind of figured out.
Yeah. Someone asked.
But that's day before at 3 p.m.
Oof.
Yeah.
Brutal. Someone asked why our coverage of 65 for the World Team Trials has been minimal. I don't think it has. I feel like we talked about 65 a bunch. We were just talking about Yanni and Henderson. We talked at length about Nick Lee versus Henderson. We talked at length about Ian.
We'll say we didn't talk much about Ian Parker beating Joey McKenna.
We talked about it, though. We just said he broke. And then we talked about
retroactively. I thought they were talking about pre.
We didn't talk about.
Who would have seen that coming? Yo.
It was all Joey Yanni.
Kind of skipped 74 kilograms on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which North killed everyone, so kind of whatever.
Well, I will say, looking at the Final X, I don't think it's a homicide like it was at Olympic trials.
I agree.
I agree with that. Hey, did they wrestle?
You're next topping it.
Me?
Me?
No, Christian's next topping it.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm next topicing. I do think Dake is a decided favorite. I do think Dake is a bigger favorite than Jaden. But yeah, I don't know if I'm next topicing. I do feel like that Nolf looked as good as we've seen, and I do realize the field and etc. But there was something about his attack rate that was really encouraging. That reminds you of the kind of the Nolf of old.
Yeah.
Now my question What was their? They had a. Did they wrestle? They wrestled on the Nittany Lion card, right? Am I remember
Or
correctly?
Cornell, one or two. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, that was ugly. It wasn't all that competitive.
It was 5-0 on an NLWC card, according to John Kozak, if he is to be believed. Which
Yeah, I think that sounds right. And Nope didn't really get close to any scores or anything.
that's going to be the thing. How does Jason Ulf score on Kyle Dake?
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I think. I mean, my thought is that he could just hand fight, hold position, not put himself in anything precarious, that's tough because Jason Ulf usually goes for it, and then try to win a push out or something, shot clock, something like that, or force Dake to make a mistake, which is obviously super rare.
yeah. And one thing with Kyle that is like, okay, if you're looking for nits to pick, sometimes he looks tired in matches. It doesn't actually materialize into anything tangible in terms of his performance typically.
Yes.
Like when have
He's
you
just
seen
tough
him?
enough to wrestle through it. It doesn't affect it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see that as a path. I don't know. It's gonna be tough because I feel like high attack rate against Kyle Dake is crazy, and then what we saw at the Olympic trials was Kyle went after him and immediately just starched him and teched him and had the most insane highlight clip of the entire trials in that moment. So yeah, I can see like Kozak it being a little more competitive and Dake not completely. Also, Dake ultra motivated to like reduce time on the mat because he's going to wrestle Jordan later on, right? That's a factor too. So,
you're saying, God.
Whereas here he could be more likely to just like, hey, why don't I just wrestle two hard matches and that's okay too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be. I'm curious for North, and they're gonna try something. I bet there will be a game plan that will be like, okay, this is the path. This is what they're seeing. This is what they're gonna try to do against Dake, which is always fascinating to see what the Penn State crew comes up with because they're obviously very good game planners. Their NCAA adjustments that we've seen in matches are stuff we talk about all the time, and their ability to avenge previous losses is impressive.
Yeah,
I agree. Big chest wrap.
Yeah, it was a big chest wrap. Dake got his 4.
Dake and Nolf was so close on that step out there too.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I didn't realize there was gonna be all these third place wrestlebacks. There's a couple good ones: Mark Hall, Trent Hidley, and Vincenzo Joseph Karstaraki.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I mean, this was not part of the original Final X plan, so I don't know if they.
Oh, really? Was it just happened?
No.
Well, these matches weren't like set in stone.
They weren't set, but they still knew that there would be true third matches. I mean, they are.
Yes.
They happen every year.
It's just different when you have people sitting out to Final X.
Yes.
That's what throws a wrench into things.
Yeah, because you can't have Vincenzo wrestle the 2 out of 3, lose that, and then wrestle Starachi.
That would be not good.
The next thing that would be disappointing. So those will be some great matches, some really exciting true thirds. It'll make for Bader and I'll be on the mic for long hours, but that'll be fun.
Bro, that is gonna be a long day for you guys. Holy, the New York one.
Yeah,
that's gonna be 40 matches. That is gonna be wow. Because Burroughs, well, how are they even gonna do that many damn matches? Because did they have Brutus card?
That one.
Wait, how are they gonna? I'm just hold on.
Soprano
How are they gonna do this? Because Brutus card was 17 matches and it took almost 4 hours. If you guys are gonna do 40 matches, if I do the extrapolation on that, that's like 10 hours.
I think there's a world where the show could run a little faster than the Rudis event.
Yeah, okay. Reduce it by 20%. You're still at 8 hours.
Yeah, it's going to take forever.
It's going to take a really long time.
I'm going to have to listen. I'll be honest. Me and Beta are the true Iron Men of Final X.
You might be.
We might be. Will we have to get IVs? It's possible. It could come to that. But we're willing to do it.
Holy crap.
It's okay. It'll be
fun. I was already thinking like 30 is a lot. Like those are 2 long sessions. That's like probably a 2.5 hour and a 2.5 hour or something like that. And then you had 10 more matches on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yep.
Long day.
It's okay. Jacob Catlett says, you think any chance JB loses Final X, he leaves his shoes on the mat? I don't know what is less likely.
It's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't think he would because I don't think that's in his head right now.
In Jordan's mind, he's training through the Olympics.
Yeah.
I think he feels good. I mean, it's really it's sort of far-fetched on the chance thing too. But, I think he would be so shocked in the moment because, like, a lot of times you see the retirements, like, the people go into the tournaments knowing, like, if this goes the wrong way, which means...
That's why a lot of times it happens like the quarters.
Yeah, which means in their mind, they kind of already know it could go that way. Like, I don't think there's any scenario in Jordan Burroughs' mind he's like, man, I could lose the chance. Like, fair or not, I just think that's probably what he's thinking. Like, I'm not losing a chance, Marsteller. I'm not losing to anyone.
You know what would be funny that we've never seen? What if we had a rage quit? Like, someone goes to someone they don't expect to, and they're like, I hate this. I'm freaking. And they start ripping their shoes off and they throw them on the mat. I'm done.
Throw their shoes away.
Throw them in the garbage. Not even on the mat. Throw them in the garbage on the way out. Oh, that would be so funny.
That would be funny.
I'm sure that has happened at many a youth tournament.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that retire, sadly, at youth tournaments.
I don't think they take their shoes all the way out. I mean, they rage, but they don't take their shoes all the way off. I don't think.
Yeah. Little ragers. They can't get them untied that fast.
Well, you've never been to a Mongolian youth tournament.
I have not been there. You're right.
Man,
They take everything off.
busted.
Have
Oh, yeah.
you? Oh,
That took me a second, too.
I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about the
Is that the
Mongolian
ultimate
oil
rage
wrestling.
quit? The ultimate rage quit is the coaches completely
They actually kind of
disrobing.
refused to quit. They would not leave the mat.
That's a good spin zone that they actually didn't quit. They were too legit to quit, possibly.
Yeah, I thought it was this Mongol. I thought you were talking about the Mongolian wrestling because they wore these like boots and it doesn't appear that they have strings on them. So that's what I was thinking.
They may have Velcro.
You think
didn't
so?
think about
I'm
that.
trying to see. I'm looking at it right now, trying to see. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have like strings. I don't know how they fasten them to their feet.
Yeah.
You guys should bring up some.
The big mistake was that they didn't have the tearaway pants at the games. That would have been just maximum effect. But then you would have had to really know what was about to go down to be really predicting. Because they had to sit down and like take their shoes off, and it's just not as cool or dramatic when it's kind of that long disrobing process.
If there's one wrestling moment you can go back and watch, like you don't know, like the outcome, like your Men in Black memory wiped, and you get to rewatch it. Where does that stack up? Watching that happen in real time was astonishing.
It was so fun for us because we were all up in. This is at the old HQ in what was
Cesar
called the
Chavez?
Skybox. We were there for like weeks. We were like did the whole week of juniors and cadets, and then the Olympics. We're just like living in this room basically, and so we're all together, and we're just like just dying beside ourselves, laughing like in total disbelief that this was happening. That would be definitely one of the. That is definitely one of the more memorable things I've ever watched in my life. That was a very memorable tournament. If I could erase my brain from the Jordan Burroughs Godoyev match, I would definitely do that and not ever watch it again. I'll just recycle that moment.
Metcalf Caldwell would be up there for me.
No,
personally,
I did not want to see that again.
But being
don't want to see it
youth
again
at the time,
No way.
in the state of Iowa, it was astonishing to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy being in there at the time was like.
You guys don't like? I mean, don't you? I think one of the most fun things about wrestling is when you see something that you totally didn't see coming. When it just like hits you, you're like, wait, where the freak did that come from? Like that's one of the best parts for me. So that match was like no one like, we're not giving some of these dudes a chance. Caldwell had less of a chance. No one thought he was. It was just going to be a bloodbath, is what
The
everyone
way he
thought.
did
And
it too, with the lefty headlock,
Yes.
and then the celebration and the shove at the end, the whole thing.
That was
Yeah.
wild.
How old were you? 14?
What year was that? 2009.
Mine, yeah.
Yeah,
Younger.
about
14. Yeah, that would definitely.
Wait,
stick
you're
in my
27, JD? I thought you were like
Not
25.
quite. Yeah, 25.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think I was middle school.
Yeah.
mind. Yeah. No, I mean, that was a crazy moment for sure. Definitely one of the craziest things I've seen in person. It was mind-blowing. Yeah, I'm wondering what else I would like to go back in time and watch. I mean, Snyder Sadulayev was crazy. Helen beating
Yes.
Ooh, that
Helen,
was a good one.
For the team, too.
Helen beating Yoshida. Those were two of the most exuberant celebrations I can recall at an event I wasn't at. And still, I have these really strong, vivid memories for not being there. Obviously, being there for the 2017 Burroughs Dake series is definitely one of my, most vivid memories at an event.
Yeah.
Crazy event.
Yeah, NCAA
2017
finals just kind of in general are, man, even like I love the NCAA so much. Like even the first day this year, I was only there for day one. It was just so awesome with all the matches and all the upsets. And it's like, even going to the tournament, chaos is to the point of like things you don't predict. Chaos is going to happen in round one, and you just but you can't see it. It's so bizarre because mentally, a bunch of weird upsets are going to happen. But then you look at every match, like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. No, not that one. Nope, not that one. And then freaking the round starts, and then on the top side of 125, everyone's getting killed, and you're like, wait, how is this happening?
Yes, it is a weird thing. Yeah. Tanner Jack says DeSanto beating Spencer in the PIAA finals was wild. No one saw that coming. Yeah, that's for sure. Even though the rumor was out, Spencer's knee maybe tore it, maybe really bad. Yeah. But even still, it was no one was thinking about it. I remember where I was, and I didn't watch it because I was at my buddy was getting married the next day. We were at a concert, and I just remember getting all these texts in our group chat was blowing up. I was like, oh my gosh, Spencer Lee just lost to Austin DeSanto. This is insane.
Yeah,
that was nuts. Now they're teammates. Weird.
Full circle.
Full circle. Speaking of full circle, someone one of the questions was, could you spend a few minutes analyzing the ups and downs of Chance Marsteller's career to this point? And so yesterday I kind of did this before I even saw this, just thinking about what a wild ride it has been for Chance. And, I'm hopeful that the wildness and the ups and downs are really becomes more of a kiddie coaster than what it's been from the last basically 10 years. But yeah. Just to give you the kind of, here's my recollection. I kind of have it sort of sketched out my own little timeline, and there is a lot in here. So I hope you find it helpful. But basically, I remember hearing about Chance when he was in middle school because he was entering college opens and winning matches. And he became, mythological at that point. He won Pennsylvania States as a freshman at a not lightweight. He ends up being a four-timer. He made a cadet world team and injured his elbow. And if he would have won that, I think he would have had Sadulayev in the cadet world finals, which would have been a kind of a cool thing to look back on. And then in his college or his high school career, he ended up having some injury stuff that he was dealing with and missed some time, and it was all a little weird. And he has the crazy, iconic match with Cody Weirchuk, which at the time was one of the biggest matches in high school history. And now, you look back on it and the names don't ring out like they were, but you got to remember what Cody Weirchuk was at the time for Cannon McMillian. And these were the number 1 and 2 guys in the country, and they're wrestling in the Powerade finals. It was insane, and Chance won that one narrowly. I think it was a tiebreaker match. July 4th of the summer of Chance's, going into his senior year, I believe, he commits to Penn State. I remember he said he wanted to fireworks. I remember he told this was him. He told Willie his commitment. So I remember that vividly. And then over the course of some months, I'm not sure the exact details, but I think Chance was having some behavior at Penn State that was not congruent with what Kale and company had in mind, and they sort of cooled on him a little bit. And I don't know if that resulted in a conversation about the scholarship or, hey, you may not be a fit here. But at the end of it, Chance flips to Oklahoma State. And then he ends up going down and wrestling. This is a guy that wrestled at 170 pounds, and he ends up, as a high schooler, he ends up wrestling at 157 at Oklahoma State.
Got that on that cowboy cut job.
He was lean, and then one of his most iconic matches, I would say not iconic but memorable matches was against Iowa at the grapple the gridiron against Edwin Cooper. He gets up big and absolutely falls off a cliff big time, but he still won.
So bad, dude.
He still won, but you're like, this dude is not a 57. So it doesn't end well for him there. In that match, in that season, he ends up getting in trouble at Stillwater, gets kicked off the team for violation of team rules. He leaves, and he ends up tweeting. This was troubling. He tweeted, "Not a quitter, but I'm done with this sport. It no longer needs me, and I will no longer suffer from it." This was in like 2016, I want to say, 2015, 2016. So that was obviously like disconcerting and sad and just like not how you want to see a career with his potential end. He ends up making it and committing to Lockhaven. And then soon after, he gets arrested and he's drunk, he's high, he's naked, he beats up some people. He gets arrested. It's a whole thing. Very, very bad. And he's kicked off the team. He's kicked off Lockhaven. Mm-hmm. Then he gets back on the team in some months later. He's on probation, has all this stuff. Gets back on the team. He All-Americans twice, placing 4th and 3rd consecutively. We now know, because of Chance's, incredible candor, he's like, I was not clean at that point. I was faking it. It was a charade, basically. I was not on the path. I was drinking, doing drugs, et cetera, et cetera. He's kind of bounced around a little bit since graduating from Lockhaven, time at Navy, Lehigh Valley. All this time, this Chance's account, not on the path, not clean. Has another setback, eventually goes to rehab, checks himself in, makes a decision for himself to go into rehab. And now he says he is, for the first time, basically completely clean and sober. And that leads us to right now, where he just made Final X. He beats Carter Starace, who a year ago beat him 7-0. He beats David McFadden, who beat him. And then he beats Vincenzo Joseph in the best 2 out of 3 between two Pennsylvania legends, to set the stage against Jordan Burroughs. So that is the cliff notes of Chance Marsteller. I mean, you will be hard-pressed to find a more up and down and sad and happy and is he made it, has he not made it type of scenario than this. And more than anything, more than wrestling success, I just hope for him and for his family he can continue it. I'm certain that he can, and I really hope that he does. Yeah. Agreed. So that was
a hell of a monologue, Christian.
Yeah, I mean it's an insane, it's an incredible story, and I just want the happy ending for Chance, because I mean, and listen, this doesn't even get into. We did like a profile of him. 25th. This was between the Oklahoma State and Lockhaven time and after the arrest. This is and I don't want to get the quotes wrong. So if someone can cover for me while I pull this up. He had, his childhood was not easy. Let me see.
It really can't be like overstated enough. I feel like he was the first mega like youth star in wrestling. Maybe
first. Get lost. What about Steve Mocco? You don't know about Steve Mocco?
Yeah, but
or
it
Damian
couldn't.
Hahn. Or
I know, but like you couldn't with the technology at the time was just different. Where like people could watch him. It wasn't just stories. It wasn't just this big heavyweight in New Jersey who's like super mean. You didn't just hear about it. Like you could watch it. You could see him. You could see him beat college guys.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying the first one in the era where we could actually watch.
Yes.
Okay.
That's fair.
And where you could go viral for cool highlights and
yeah,
stuff like that.
So Chance was abandoned by his father at age 5. He's literally told him, he told his man, it's just tough to even read this, honestly. But he said, "Sorry, bud, I love your mom, not you," as he left.
Jeez.
It's just, the guy's had a tough life, obviously. And, you know that some of that fire in him to make him a great wrestler has to stem from something like that, So, yeah. Chance Marsteller, keep it up, man. Rooting for you for sure.
What next,
Against Burrows.
Christian?
Wow.
You-
Huh?
I said rooting against Burrows. Wow.
No, I'm rooting for
I
Chance.
know.
Get him.
Oh, gosh. Y'all know what I mean.
Christian wants Burrows to lose. You all heard it.
He wants him to leave his shoes on the mat. Those are the words that came out of your
Yup.
mouth.
That's
all heard
wrong. Wrong. What is okay? All right, now I'm saying I'm scrolling through the doc and you guys put this in here. Wrestling news. Quick thoughts from CP on what he missed yesterday. Pat's Glory internship is not in the Bahamas.
Oh,
did we think he was in the Bahamas?
Yeah, well, there was an article
that was what
that
JD
came
reported.
out on Internet and said he spent time in the Bahamas. I just misread. He just went on a trip in the Bahamas or something, and then it talked about his internship, and I misread. And I thought his internship was in the Bahamas.
He works at a jet ski company. He rents them out. It's his internship
He's got some Wall Street finance internship
in the Bahamas, and maybe in the Caymans. Oh, look into it.
Laundering money.
Look into it. Hey, man. Pat Glory's playing chess, not checkers here. Taylor Lamont to Wisconsin's interesting. I don't know if you talked about lineup fit, but Barnett's got a red shirt.
Or Lamont going up.
Well, we also talked about how he mentioned in his post that he visited with Iowa. So that it would make sense.
He wants to show down with
move up.
Spencer. He wants it. He says, "You're going to be a 4-timer, but your fourth's coming at 33. Because you're not taking the spot from Taylor Lamont." Yeah, it's interesting. In Iowa State was the other one? The other school?
Cal Poly.
Cal Poly.
Iowa State and Cal Poly.
Okay, got it. Cal Poly. Cal Poly loves transfers.
Got
Tearing
some
it
good
up.
transfers lately.
Good
Don
at that.
Demas, Evan Wick.
Yes, indeed. All right, so we talked about...
Speaking of Demas, episode 3 for Who's Next just came out, so...
Have you watched any yet, Ben?
I have not watched any yet.
Episode 3 involves bull wrestling. And not Alex Marinelli.
Not Alex Marinelli. He was not available. It was in the middle of his senior season. You should watch. I would really just be interested in your opinion on it.
All right, I'll check it out.
Our wives have been, not that you're married, JD, but my wife and David, we were sure they're kind of getting into it. So that was kind of the goal, not that it would be interesting for people that weren't necessarily jiu-jitsu fans.
Got it.
Got it, says Ben.
Got it.
Let's go to some questions here.
We crushed the questions yesterday. You weren't
crushed
here.
them?
We hammered them.
Dang it.
We had some voicemails. It was good.
What was the best one?
What was Pat made a great point about what the hell was Pat's point?
Best 2 out of 3 is weird for challenge
weird, yeah.
tournament finals, especially when you don't do it for guys that make it at weights where there's no medalist.
Yeah, I honestly don't disagree with that.
Yeah, none of us did.
No, we all agreed.
Yeah. Do we like that our I know how I like it just because it feels more sure, but does it make sense to have two out of 3 to make the team? You think so?
So our feeling was, there did not need to be a 2 out of 3 to make the final, right? So there's one last match to make the team.
So
Then
no
a 2 out of 3 series. And so if someone would have snuck through and got lucky, then they would have to get lucky again in order to make the team. And I think that's probably the better thing, right, than having someone hit a big move and get on a team that maybe is not our best option.
Right. I think the counter to that would be that what percentage of the time does the match 1 winner win it all, or that just win in 2 straight, and it's just like extra matches for no real reason.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Just basically like it does give more assurance. I get what you're saying about.
Oh, I see what you're saying. How many times is there a fluke in match 1?
McKenna,
probably not that much,
I don't think there's a
but
fluke.
well, it was flukish in how it. The match
which
was
match did you say? I didn't hear it.
McKenna Yanni. It was like really
Yeah.
maybe not a fluke. It was sort of flukish how Yanni had the match won and then got like forward, like with basically no time left. It's just not replicable.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's and obviously, yeah. Does it happen? Does it happen frequently? I think the answer to that is no. It doesn't happen frequently, but does it happen? The answer to that is yes.
Ben, I'm noticing you need to cut your curl again. I can see that
It's hanging down right in the middle.
It's
I
right
told
there.
you, it's so annoying.
that is so funny. Yeah, you know what? You should cut it live on air. Just hack that thing off.
If I had I don't have a.
I can't believe you don't have like a.
Hold on, here we go. You know
Oh
what
my
I found in
gosh.
my drawer right here? So I have this like thing under my computer to make it so it's not too low. Look at Mark Ellis gave me this as a wedding gift. This very sharp knife right here. So let's see what we could do.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
Hey, there we go.
It's a very sharp knife. Now the curl's
There we go.
gone.
Done. Gone. Fixed. Look at you. You brought it up. That was perfect.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks.
But it was
Live on air.
It is funny how it grows like straight down towards
Goes
your eyes.
straight into the middle of my face. It's so
Why does it not
freaking
curl
annoying.
up? Like
Yeah,
the rest?
that's the one.
There's one. I don't know what its deal is. It's got issues.
If you're just listening, I encourage you to get on the Spotify app or watch on the site because Ben just hacked his hair off with a knife, which I gotta say could be an FRL first. I think that's our first
FRL
haircut
first.
live on air.
Yeah. Gotta be.
My name is Jeff says, how come freestyle guys don't go for Greco throws from parterre? Because
You can grab a leg and defend.
They step right next to their arms
Yeah.
in Greco, and you can't do that. And you could do it in freestyle, but they're just gonna grab your leg and not get throwed.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess from a
Yeah.
0-time Greco wrestler. We did the chance thing. For our smaller high school wrestling programs, what should we be focusing on when it comes to developing? Any drills and techniques we should prioritize to get new high school kids up to speed in the sport? Is more about patience and trusting the process.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, if you want to talk, I don't even think technique's the most important there. Create an environment that kids want to be in. Show the kids you care about them, and make them enjoy it. They'll stick around, and then once they stick around and they love you, you can teach them all the damn technique you want to teach them because they'll love it.
Yep, that is important. I
can't get these dudes. They love it too much. Like Monday was it Monday? No, I'm sorry, it was Wednesday last week, and I was trying to come home and see my wife. And these dudes wouldn't stop wrestling. The practice ended at 9, and usually if you guys stick around for a few minutes, we had like 9 guys that were still wrestling. And I had at 9:30, I had to be like, guys, you gotta go. I gotta go see my wife. You guys gotta go. It's 9:30. You gotta go home. And like, they freaking love it.
Mm-hmm. So, one thing I would say, this is, if you want to,
Right up your alley.
If you want advice from a small time wrestling coach in small town Virginia, here it comes. Buckle up. But I think the one thing that helps, if you got kids, if you're in a smaller program, that means probably a lot of your wrestlers are starting when they start in high school, right? So the time to improve, you just got to accelerate that. And one thing that the kids that were good for us, they were doing it basically year round. And you had to like give them more opportunities, because if they're just doing it a couple months of the year and then they're doing other stuff, they're not going to have that rapid growth in my experience. They've got to be doing it pretty consistently. That's not every day, of course, but they're just creating the opportunities for them to get workouts in and drill and work on their skills year round really accelerated their improvement. And that's when I saw guys make the biggest jumps, is when they were doing that. So they've got to love it to want to do that. So to Ben's point, if they're not into it and really have those goals, And you need to have a conversation with them, I think, about their goals and what they want to do, and then map kind of a plan for them for that. Because some kids really just want to be on a team from November to February, and I think that's great too. And you shouldn't be like, I know I got frustrated when kids did not want to commit to wrestling in a more extensive way, right? Because, and I think that was probably selfishness on my part, but also like me seeing like, if you see like a lot of potential in a kid, or you see like, man, this kid could be good, it's like hard to stop thinking about how good a kid could be at something. And then you want them to commit to it to the degree that you want them to. But if it's not in them, in my experience, it's not going to help.
And you can't like guilt them or bully them or like those type of things. It's got to be, you can gently influence or sway or, tell them you believe in them, those type of things.
Yeah.
But those other types of behaviors, and honestly, a lot of coaches use them. They'll work when the kids are younger, and sometimes they'll work in the beginning. And then if they do work in the beginning, it will create a more massive backfire, because then the kid is going to have this, they're going to have this feeling like you made them do something that they didn't really want to do. And then it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then they're like, I freaking hate you. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And also, some kids are not like to in my mind, like the idea of being a state champion is a really, really cool thing, or placing at states or qualifying. It's like a big deal. But for some, that's like not that interesting, or it's like the kind of idea of it sort of freaks them out, the pressure behind it.
Interestingly enough, I asked Jordan Burroughs his favorite wrestling memory, and he said winning a state championship.
Yeah. It's such a pure moment.
It is. Yeah.
It really is.
I would say the same thing. I was surprised he said just winning a state title. I would say like the moments where, it's like these like cresting moments. So for me, it's like state title. When I earned a college scholarship, when I beat Troy Laird, I knew that was like the match, college title, and then making the Olympic team. Because it was this moment when it's like all this stuff built up, and then boom, you get what you want type things,
Mm-hmm.
I could remember exactly what he said, but it was something to the effect of like, at that point, like winning like the NCAA title, and or like it was like he expected it, or like, he knew he had put the work in, but it was something like the state title. It was like what his goal had been since he literally started wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like one of the first goals that a lot of wrestlers ever eye, right?
Yeah.
It's bigger than a. You can't even conceptualize an NCAA title when you start wrestling. Probably a lot of kids.
No,
can't, especially then.
And there's almost no way you get there without getting a few other things first.
Yeah. You're not gonna. Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Keegan goes undefeated with 3-1-1-1-1 as he finishes the NCAA's only one career loss in his true freshman season. What else would have to do to surpass Cale as the GOAT of college wrestling?
This would be an interesting discussion. I saw this question. It'd be an interesting discussion.
It's basically impossible.
Well, but Keegan's first season is Cale's Paul Jen season.
Sure.
So
I think he's already behind the 8 ball from a dominance standpoint. Which is crazy to think about, because Keegan's pretty dominant.
A little bit, but I think he can. I think it's obviously a category he can pick it up on. I don't know that he could pass Cale, but he can get really close. But that first year, I don't want to say it's unfair that it counts on his real record, but I mean, he was going to redshirt that year for sure.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't going to wrestle, and then they made the year like, hey, anyone can wrestle, and there's no eligibility issues. So a lot of people wrestled who wouldn't actually have been in lineups, and so I think that's that's a big, like, it wouldn't have been, and now it is.
I mean, if you want to talk about like what a red shirt can be, it's interesting how like some kids with a red shirt, it's like they're just ready and they don't need it. But like for Keegan, this was a guy that was going to go 57 and literally lost his wrestle off that year to Jared
Moved up
Jake
in like February.
He lost his wrestle off to Jared Jake Hughes, who has never placed, right? And he placed third that year, Keegan, and he won a national championship the very next year. It's like the development for some is really insane. And
some of these dudes are holding back 3 times in 8th grade, so they're like 17 when they get to be a freshman. And that's that's a significant advantage, and that's going to harm their development as they get older because they're just not. You're not going to have that 18, 19, 20-year-old period is where significant growth is going to happen, just from a physical standpoint, right? And a lot of these guys, they're hitting that earlier because they are holding back so much. There's a lot of guys now who are doing 2 cadet years prior to high school, which is you really have to hold back an extra year usually because generally 8th graders are going to be either second-year schoolboys or first-year cadets, right? And there's a bunch of these dudes now, they're doing 2 years of cadet. And listen, I've coached 11 years. I haven't had one kid who's fallen in that category. So it is very highly abnormal that happens. But a lot of kids are doing it, and that's going to harm them later on.
Yeah.
Sorry, to go on a total tangent on a topic I'm passionate about.
No, we like tangents. And you act like it's like what you're here for.
I'm here for the tangents. Let's go. I still got my knife in my hand. I'm ready. What else do we do?
Oh my gosh. Love it. Someone asked any non-state champions go on to win NCAA.
Oh yeah.
And Jeremiah Forsyth says Imar. And then I'm looking it up.
No, Imar won.
Did Imar not win a state title?
He was a California guy, so maybe
I'm pretty
not.
sure Imar won a state title.
But I think he
don't
did.
think that one's right.
I'm looking it up.
I'm almost.
That would be a weird pull if it was like.
I know he lost to Anthony Valencia a couple times.
Here's him versus Nick Cano, and he won. Imar won that year.
Yeah, I thought he did.
2011.
But I'm pretty sure he got hammered by Zahid Anthony a couple times. Even I remember the one I remember that was really wild was he got hammered by Anthony. Even after his red shirt season, yes. And then the next year he'd go on to win an NCAA title, but he got beat up by Anthony at the junior trials.
Yep. High school 3-time.
He was a 3-timer.
Champ. What's this guy
in California?
Dang. I was like, what? Is that really true? No, it's so not true. Jeremiah.
Not true.
Jeremiah, come on, man.
Yes, there are some though. I can't think.
Drew
of
Foster. James
there you
DeRaider said that in the chat.
That's right.
Huh. Mitch Clark.
What
Colin
about,
Moore was, I think.
Who?
Mike Mock might have been because he wrestled in North Carolina. But he was definitely like...
Some of these states where there's one division, obviously, like say a Jersey or a New York or those type of California, it is obviously harder to win state titles. So some guys who are really high level don't. But yeah, in North Carolina, they got like 7 divisions. Virginia, 7 divisions. Like you have to be really, really low level to not win a state title there. Well, I mean, if we're obviously, if
I
we're
know
talking
for
about,
Division 1.
Yes, competing at a high level Division 1.
So even Mike Mock won looks like one title at
2013. 4A 182.
He was 61-1. Mike Mock was in the streets his senior year, just balling up North Carolinians. Did Caleb make a speech for his 5th grade graduation? No, he did not. There were no speakers. There was a Boy Scout who did like the a little flag ceremony, which was cool. And also, they apparently every day they do the pledge allegiance to the flag and they pledge allegiance to Texas. And then so we did the pledges.
There you go.
But I don't know the Texas state pledge, so I just stood there like a dummy because I don't know it. Basically, is why I didn't do it.
So you don't know the Texas state?
You're a crappy Texan.
State.
Do you know it? Say it right now.
I'm not going to say it right now on air, but I know it.
He doesn't know it. Tyler, do you know it?
Producer Tyler? I got to look this up now. Texas State Pledge. I'm just going to read it so all of our listeners know.
The great state of Texas.
The great nation of Texas.
Great nation of Texas.
Texas State Pledge. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. That's not even proper English.
Yeah, it was sort of weird. That's what it is. Maybe
that's a one sentencer. It needs to be more.
Pledge. Texas Pledge of Allegiance.
This came with the understanding that the Union would always respect Texas's history as a sovereign nation. If Texas became a sovereign nation, I probably would move there. I'm so legit. Don't even laugh. I'm serious. If Texas became a sovereign nation within the United States, I would move to Texas.
You won't.
Unfortunately, it's not going to become. It's probably highly unlikely it becomes a sovereign nation. But if that were to happen, yes, I would.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I was all hoping that he would come here and get an AWA Austin going and all that. But you know what?
Maybe.
You know who's moving to Austin?
I don't know.
Army.
Oh, Ben Darmstadt.
He's coming
Let's
home,
go.
baby. Ben Darmstadt coming to Texas. Now he's got some fancy job, probably because he went to Cornell and is smart and stuff.
Fancy pants.
Fancy pants Ben, but he won't forget us. Hopefully he comes by, pays a visit.
You know what you guys need to get Ben Darmstadt into is jiu-jitsu. I bet he'd be good.
Oh my gosh, he'd be choking dudes out.
Yeah, those long limbs.
Super flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those
plug him in
limbs,
with Danaher. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched. I don't watch a ton of grappling, but I watched some of the. I don't know if they're. You'll probably correct me on this, but Rutolo. Have you seen them?
Those kids are awesome.
Bro, they're awesome. They killed Gary Tonin and Shinya Aoki at one championship last week, but just the dexterity they have with their legs. Like I was thinking about this. I was actually working out with Jordan Newman yesterday and helping him, one of our guys that he fights MMA now. But like their ability to put their leg in a place. Like, for example, if I wanted my hand to go here, I can make my hand go here, but my leg is like a very blunt instrument. Like I can make it kind of go somewhere, but I can't make it go right in there. And they're like so precise with the way they tuck their legs in places. It's freaking amazing.
They're incredible. Their jiu-jitsu training predates their like consciousness. They like only know a life of training jiu-jitsu, and they've done it forever. And they have this built-in advantage of literally having a savage that they've lived with their entire lives. It's the exact same size and basically genetic makeup, and they just train together.
Yeah, they have videos of them rolling together in the living room, and it's hilarious.
You should watch some of their
moves
garage
they did. I was like, holy crap! These kids are like 12, and like, wow.
They try to kill each other when they train too. They get in fist fights. They're obviously really close, but they also have that crazy competitive. And yeah, they're freaks. I mean, he darts Tonin no problem.
Like in a minute.
Yeah, they're very good. I think Ty's gonna win the ADCC probably. He's like super young. They're crazy young, but cool guys. Like them both a lot. They've been cool to work with for the Flow staff. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Rutolos on FRL. That's a first. Other questions. Oh, did you discuss Chenzo's technical gains at all?
I said, Keith Gavin never won a state title. That was a good callback.
Oh, yeah.
I was tweeting me that. Yeah, I said I didn't really think there was that many technical gains. I think he's already had always had a wide variety of techniques he hits. He's got really tricky hips. And the point I made was we haven't really seen him compete all that much in freestyle. I mean, I remember him doing a junior trials like
right.
How 2014. It was in Madison, I believe, right? So it was 2014 or 2015, something like that. And we haven't really seen him that much. So I think that, he's very savvy and intelligent also. So the freestyle kind of plays along with his stuff.
Yes. That'd be my thought too.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is someone in the NCAA landscape that did not A last year but could win a national title this year?
Well, you'd have to look at weights that are clearing out.
141 is clearing out.
141.
So who was the best non-AA at 141?
Was the question specifically they had to compete last year, or we could take injured guys or high schoolers also?
I would maybe not take high schoolers, but maybe someone that was redshirting or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking
from
up
NCAA. All right, I got it pulled up here. Okay, so here's who lost in the round of 12. Stefan Micic, shout out. He's gone. Maybe.
Stop.
We'll see.
You never know.
Chad Red, maybe gone. Andrew Alirez. Okay, there it is.
There's a good choice right there.
Clay Carlson, who beat.
He ate the year
Can I
before.
pick Spencer? Yeah. Can I pick Spencer Lee?
No.
Why not?
Because that's just the rule I just made up because it's ridiculous to pick Spencer Lee for this question.
Fine. But
he fits the boundaries.
He does. The criteria is a little broad, but yes, I would say him.
You know who's a decent option if David Carr were to move up, because you've talked about that, would be based on his rate of improvement. And listen, there's no great picks in here. Lira's is a solid one. Ed Scott made an insane amount of improvement from redshirt year to real freshman year. If he does the same thing again, and David Carr is gone, I don't think there's a really evident favorite at 157.
That is a fantastic choice for sure. Ed Scott made a huge jump. I think him DNPing is got to be a disappointing thing.
I know the answer.
So excited. Please share.
Wyatt Hendrickson.
You probably will.
Suck it, guys. Wyatt Hendrickson.
Is this a taser wager?
Taser wager. I'm already getting tasered once on behalf of Wyatt Hendrickson. I think that'll be enough.
You've sacrificed enough for Wyatt. Yeah, I think he's a good one for. No, he's not.
He's not. He's not a good one because there's still Gable's gone, but there's still Kirkwood and there's still Colton Schultz and there's still Mason Paris. So Ferrari is another really good one if we're allowed to pick injured guys.
No,
just no.
Michael Beard.
Michael Beard.
Oh, Michael Beard. Good one.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think Ed Scott and Andrew Ramirez and did we say any others? They're pretty good ones. That's what I'll go with.
Yeah.
Okay, so good question there. Spady Brader.
Wow, you could have. It's a perfect time to plug Bartlett.
Oh, you forgot about your boy.
I mean, it goes
forgot
without
about
saying.
your boy.
It goes without saying. I didn't think it needed to be said, but if I must say it, yes, obviously, Bill Bartlett has a great shot. We should do a taser wager. I'm not going to do this, but Bo, who places higher next year, Wyatt or Bo?
Who places higher, Wyatt or Bo? Wyatt. Duh.
Oh man. I'll put some push-ups on it.
Okay, let's put some push on. I'll say because I'm already getting tased once.
You're not getting tased. How much electric shock can your hair take?
You know
Who knows
what?
what'll happen.
Someone told Mr. Not Human Newman yesterday told me, he's like, ain't no big deal. You're tough.
It depends on the taser. Based on
I said that. But you guys told me you're not going to try to kill me, so you're not going to get one of them crazy ass tasers.
We're not going to get a crazy one. But so many people hit me up and are like, this is the worst pain he will ever experience in his life. It is so bad.
Really?
And
that's not what my buddy said.
If it's these were cops too. They're like, dude, they're so bad because they have to get tased, like, with training and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I think military people probably do too. They have to endure some of that. They're like, it's so bad.
Well,
But
isn't it like, I don't know who's tasing me. I believe it's Mark Bader. But can't you hold the button to continue the electric shock for longer? I'm assuming you're not going to try to shock me forever. You're just going to give me a little zzz and then yeah, we got you to make a funny face and poop your pants and now we're done.
Man, I hope we don't blow them up.
We should move on to paintball.
Oh,
Get paintballed. You know that pain. That's not too bad.
I had a scar on my leg for a while from paintball. You know who shot me? Actually, we did this in 2008. I took a whole bunch of Missouri guys out to Colorado, and we did a training camp for the Olympic trials. We stayed out there for 2 weeks, just no distractions, just wrestling every day. And one of the days we had a paintball war, and Michael Chandler and I were the last two in, and we came together and there was this gigantic bush and I was on one side of the bush and he was on the other, and whoever shot the other one, won for their team. And so we were trying to get around the bush and to shoot the other person. And he got me right in the thigh and I had shorts on. And it cut me up bad. And I had a scar. I don't think I still have a scar. Let me look. No scar there. It lasted for a couple of years though.
We used to, we'd go on a team retreat at UNK every year, and we'd play paintball pretty much every year. And we'd always, after we did our normal games or whatever, whoever really wanted to, we'd do American Revolution. You ever play that where you just stand in front of each other as a team? You just American Revolution style. You shoot. If you get hit, you go out. If you don't, you just take a step closer. And then it boils down to two people just shooting each other a lot from very close range.
So, a
lot of fun.
While we're swapping, listen to Tracy Pyle's idea. We came home for Christmas one year, so he created this deadliest game obstacle course for Caleb, where I had to run through all this stuff in front of Caleb, and he would shoot me. That was the game. I had to run through all this stuff, and he got nailed.
That sounds like a very fun game.
Yeah, for him.
Sounds like
Would love to participate.
I was running for my life. I got nailed so many times.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Tape it next time.
I had a bruise on my my buttocks. That's where he nailed me. It's okay. He had a great time. It's all about the kids, you know.
All about the kids.
My dad's a sick individual. He took way too much pleasure in that. Okay. I think we did the show. Oh, wait. To Ben, why are there not headlocks or throws from the clinch in UFC when guys are up against the cage? A lot of over-under, and I think landing a throw would give you excellent side control.
Oh, no. I mean, I've done it a couple times, but there's generally not enough pressure off the fence, right? Because you're pushing back. You're pushing them into the fence to try to control them. And there's not enough push back, right? Because the guy's not going to press right off the cage, right? They're going to try to pummel in and get some type of position and then move off the cage. And so it's just not there.
That's just your opinion, though.
Well, I mean, no, it just doesn't. It doesn't happen. I mean, you can watch fights, right? It doesn't happen barely at all.
Yes. Well, there you go, Hoavi. There's your answer from UFC fighter Ben Askren.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Fun show today, boys.
Yeah.
This was great.
We'll
be
next
back.
week we have a final exit of junior trials.
Let's go.
I'll be out Thursday, but here Tuesday, Wednesday.
Thursday, we're doing something, but not here. I'm pointing down like we're gonna be here. Not gonna be. We're gonna be in Stillwater. Tyler, the producer's got a plan.
Junior trials final exit is Friday. The junior trials are Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday.
Yep. Get some. Are you going to that?
I'm going to go on Saturday's the U20 freestyle. I'm going to that.
I'll see you there.
Wow.
Sure.
See you guys there. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for FRL. We hope you have a great, happy Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy. Spend some time. Thank you to all those who have served. And we'll be back Tuesday. Thank you so much. Have a good one.